I believe that Edmonton is ready for change. The last 4 years have been very difficult. We've drifted and I'd say gotten stuck on some pretty important issues where we need to make more progress. My vision for Edmonton, to be straight, is this needs to be a city where people and businesses can thrive, a city that's beautiful, that's connected, and that's enduring. And I think what we've seen in the last 4 years is we've become less safe than we were. We've become more expensive for families that are trying to make ends meet. We've seen, it's harder and harder to get around. We have 5,000 unhoused people, 8 times as many opioid deaths today as we did in 2021. I've owned a business here in the downtown core with 2 partners for the last 4 years and have seen the suffering and the languishing, have felt through our team and through young people in our city that sense of lack of safety, lack of affordability. And so what we need
I'll
to
have
do...
to stop you there.
That was my minute. So we need to fix all that, Kim, with better leadership.
It's Tara. Edmonton is growing fast. As mayor, how would you manage the challenges that come along with such rapid population growth?
Well, I think... we are blessed to be, 50,000 people are moving here every year. It's something that every city would want. I think, we need to start by making Edmonton a lot safer for families. This is the thing that I hear about on the doors more than anything. It's one of the reasons I came back into politics, because I think if our city isn't safe, we're unable to do anything else. And certainly we need to be safe and we need to be compassionate. I think growth always comes with financial challenges, but it also comes with incredible opportunities. We pay for a city with a strong economy that provides good jobs for families and continues to attract more people and more business. I think we've gotten into a place where, we've seen some pretty high tax increases in the last 8 years, last 4 years, that aren't necessarily improving our services. And I think we have to be focused on being really balanced between making sure we're paying for the services that people expect and actually need to get to work and to live a good quality of life, while making sure that we remain competitive as a city so that we can attract and maintain industrial business and commercial business, which in the long term creates the financial sustainability to build the kind of city that I think many people here want.
And these are a couple of things that you talk about in your campaign. One of them, priorities to deliver better city services. Which services, though, do you think most specifically need improvement?
Well, I think, someone told me once that my first tax dollar better go to snow clearing, because if we can't get around, we're nowhere. And so I think those kinds of basic services that, we've talked to families and households and communities that didn't see a snowplow in 2024, 2025, last winter. We need to improve for our communities on the edges of Edmonton, snow clearing, residential snow clearing. Certainly, when I talk about a beautiful city, you go to seniors' homes, and they'll speak with great nostalgia about how beautiful and well-kept Edmonton used to be. But now what they see as they move around the city is, piles of gravel with weeds growing out of them, unkept boulevards, long grass, not the sort of flowers and attention to beauty that we once gave our city. So I think, basic services are about function, making sure people can get to work. Transit is really important. I'm proposing, freezing transit fares for the next 4 years until the system is safe again, until it's more reliable, serving local neighborhoods better. So, snow clearing, transit, grass cutting, those are basic things that we need to get much better at while we're struggling together and working together on some of those bigger, more complex issues.
You also talk in your campaign about making transit 100% safe. How do you plan to make that happen?
So I think it matters that there's a tone from the top that transit is for transit users. And it's also important to note that when transit isn't safe, that hurts students and working poor people and newcomers the most, because lots of other folks can make other transportation choices. One of the things that will make transit safe and our downtown and many of our communities safe is working with the province right away somehow, and our agency community of agency leaders, to build significant day shelter space in our city. Because now you see folks with serious mental health issues or who need addictions treatment who are being exploited by people who are taking advantage of their vulnerability in our downtown and in our transit system. We have, if we're police or peace officers or the help teams or social agency outreach workers, are connecting with those folks with really no place to take them. So then we just move them around from the library to the front of Commerce Place to out front of your studio here, right? And what we need to do is provide a steady, compassionate place where those community officers, those sort of enforcement resources can move people compassionately so they can get connected to the services and the supports they need to get healthier, get on with their lives, seek the better future that I think they really want.
You spent 2 terms on council and then you stepped away. Why do you feel like now is the time for you to come back?
Yeah, I think I look at where the city's at. Edmonton is an amazing place. I came here from a small community outside of Edmonton, Drayton Valley, in my early 20s because I saw this as a place of opportunity. I still see this as a place of opportunity. Of course, so do the 50,000 or so people who move here every year. And I just think that we've lost our way on some key issues. I think that we've normalized this lack of safety and kind of chalked it up to being too complex when I know that we can work together as a community to make our community safe. It breaks my heart to see how much talk there's been about homelessness and addiction and the struggle of vulnerable people on the street without a lot of progress. I don't feel like our lives are better off today than they were 4 years ago. And I know firsthand that the lives of vulnerable people, they're less better off than they were 4 years ago. So we need an all-hands-on-deck approach to addressing these issues in our city, to making sure that we are getting the housing built, the transitional housing built for the people who are struggling, that we're getting proper support from all orders of government on mental health and addictions treatment, and that we're working together as a community